Wow. I hope I make the deadline. Hey, welcome back to Frank's Modelworks. I'm Frank. We're up to part 4 of the Blue Ox Model Shop's Street Machine Group build of the Rivet 1970 Boss 429 Mustang from 1970. Now, I don't want to give away any spoilers. It's done. I'm filming this after I finished. I basically, all I had to do after the last update was final assembly, doing the chrome trim. In the last episode of this, I said I was going to bare metal foil, and if you see my body finishing tutorial part 9, I'll put a link in the description. You'll see that I didn't go in the direction of putting bare metal foil on this, that I actually painted the chrome trim on using decanted Revel chrome spray. I know. Big highfalutin stuff going on here. How you doing? Anyway, so in this episode, we're going to button up what needs to be buttoned up in the final assembly. Now keep in mind, I am a really, really good maker of sub-assemblies, and I really typically screw the pooch when it comes to final assembly. And this was no different. Let's take a look. All right, working on the body. If you saw in the body tutorial series, I did the chrome trim by painting Revel chrome spray on the window trim and the marker lights. I'm now painting in the marker lights. As you can see in the front, I'm putting the amber ones. For that, I'm using Tamiya Clear Orange X26. Is it X26? It is X26. Your buddy Frank knows his Tamiya paints. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I know something. Ooh, look at that. I got to do touch up right there. It's a good thing. See? Right there. Got to touch that up. So we're moving along on this. Now with this paint is kind of has like a gel quality. So, and it can flow if you're not careful. So I'm trying to do this so that you can see it and I can do it without messing it up, which is hard enough for me to do. So let me just concentrate. I just get in there. This is an IMEX 50 brush. I don't know. I buy these at my local hobby shop. I don't know if they're available elsewhere, but if you're ever in New York and you come to the Long Island area, you should probably go to Bayshore Hobbies in Bayshore, New York. It's right on Sunrise Highway, not far from where your buddy Frank lives. There's the amber. Nice. Check out Bob's shop. It's probably one of the biggest hobby shops left in the downstate New York area. Along with Willis Hobbies in Nassau County, there's also Nassau Hobby Center. I don't know if Men at Arms, the last I heard, he was thinking about retiring. I hope if he's retired, that's a well-earned retirement. I remember reading about that shop and finally being able to go there when I was an adult, but I used to read that shop was there back in the classified ads of Fine Scale Modeler when I was a kid. So there used to be, when I first moved out to Long Island from the city in 2004, there were a lot of hobby shops still around. And now there's a few, like there's a couple of places that do slot cars, which is cool. But my go-to, my local hobby shop is Bayshore Hobbies. Just rambling. You hear like that fan in the background. That's my computer rendering a video. So now I'm going to do the red in the back. see that? Yes. I'll bring it up to you in a second once I get that in. You want to flow it, but you don't want, you want to get even coverage, but you don't want to flood it because this stuff will gel up and bunch up due to gravity. Doesn't take a long time to dry. It does a pretty nice effect. I'm one of the few people that has yet to... I think I super glued this one. The base on the Tamiya. Nope, this one is loose. But I always hold these so that they're secured. Because, like most people, I've had that happen. Where the this part will come off of this part. Usually happens when the body is upside down and then it falls. And lands right on your newly painted surface. Here we go. It's like putting on lipstick. Alright, so let me consult. I have to paint inside the Mustang badge. In there. It's got to be red, white, and blue on those verticals, but I'm going to consult a reference before I do that. I'll probably do it off camera because that looks like it's going to be very difficult. I already did the turn signals in the grill, and like I had said before in the previous videos, I'm not going to be adding the spoiler. Just because it's not my thing. I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. There's always like little particles of polishing compound left over. Oh, I also got to get in here and touch up these alcoves, these black alcoves. Got to touch that up still. There's always, like, you could see in the panel lines, this will disappear once I put the wash in there. I should probably not use a paintbrush with paint on it as a pointer. Wow. Oh boy. It's one of those days. I'm actually really tired. It wasn't necessarily a cold day in New York today. It was very, very incredibly windy. And the wind chill factor was it was like 37 degrees, but for some reason with the wind chill factor, it was 6 degrees. And I'm working out at this box, and the guy comes out like every hour, I would take 5 minutes and go warm up in the truck because I couldn't feel my hands or my feet. And this guy whose house was right by where I was working, he comes out and he says to me, he goes, you do realize that every single time you go into your truck to warm up, the wind dies down and it picks up again as soon as you get out. And I went, no, I hadn't realized that. So that's the kind of day I was having today. So we got to get some panel liner in here. Not going to go too crazy. I'm digging that marker light. Digging it. Is that focused? See, like right now, I'm looking at the screen for the camera that's filming this, and this looks like it's in focus. But then later on, when I'm looking at my computer screen and I'm editing that's going to be blurry. What's up with that? All right, so work will continue. I'll bring you back for any progress. Hold on. Okay, I might have mentioned this previously, how I clean my brushes, but I'll go over it. Generally, if it's a water-based acrylic, I will use water to get the paint out of it. And then I'll use this stuff. Abteilung 502 Magic Potion for brushes, ABT 117. If I can find a link for this stuff, I'll provide the link in the description. I don't know if these guys are around anymore. I don't know what happened. They might have been absorbed by another company. I'll try to get the skinny. Oh. Since this is a solvent-based paint, I got a little bit of lacquer thinner in here. Now, don't let these, you know, just tap them up against to get the excess paint out so that they go clear, and then go into as soon as possible, because lacquer thinner can really dry out your brushes. This magic potion for brushes not only has a cleaner, it smells like a terpenoid, but it's got some like shampoo and conditioners, and I use it on my hair. No, I'm just kidding. But it does help with the condition of the brushes. You know, if you take care of these things, you don't really smack them around too hard, they're going to last you a long time. Take care of your stuff. It'll pay dividends in the long run. All right, so there's my little tip. I'll be back if I have anything else to tell you. Okay, I got the glass in. The interior's here, parts over here, chassis over there still. I'm making an antenna. So what I usually do when I make an antenna for a model car is I will get Albion alloys, slide fit aluminum tube. This is available in 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 1 millimeter slide fit, and you can also get the odd numbers, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. Get both. It's useful stuff. I will then get nickel silver rod, and this right here is 0.6 millimeter tube, which is a little thick for the scale, but I want it to be a little bit, I don't want it to be too dainty, so that inevitably when I hit it, it doesn't deform or get messed up. So I insert the nickel silver rod, which I believe in this case is 0.3 millimeters, into the 0.6 millimeter tube. And I leave a little bit on the end and a little bit exposed here. I'll put a little dot of PVA glue on the end to signify the little button on the end of the the antenna. And then with my punch and die set, ooh, punch and die, that sounds ominous. From RP Tools, I'll have a link in the description. But this is cool. You know, you get, comes with this is the punch. The punches are in here, and a little hammer, and you just insert your medium. In most cases, I use sheet styrene, evergreen sheet styrene, and punch out little circles, which I will then use as the base for my antenna. And then I use this dental probe to put a hole through that little piece of plastic, which as soon as I look in its general direction is going to go flying that way. And then I'll ream that hole out with a drill bit. Which allegedly I have done already, but it doesn't seem to be working so well. I'm about to be spoken to by my wife. I hear her coming down the stairs. So then that will go on there thusly. Alright, let me widen that hole and I'll come back when this is finished. When I'm done, once I get this mounted onto the antenna, I glue it on and then I'll paint it chrome silver. Hold on a second, I don't want to juggle that. Stand by. Okay, I have widened the hole, so maybe I'll be able to do this on camera. None of this is glued yet. This is all just to mock up. I had actually made one of these already, and I put it in a little plastic cup, and I think I must have knocked it over when I was filming the Stash Ad video that came out a couple of weeks ago. This is actually, I'm filming this, what's today's date? Today's December 8th. So I don't know when this is gonna air, but yesterday I was filming the Stash Ad. So now that's on there. Do you see? Does that focus? Probably not. Focus, damn you. So that's the antenna. I put a little spot of CA glue to lock that in there. And then I've drilled out a hole in the front fender right there. One of the things that I messed up on, and I'm sure it's going to be pointed out to me, was that when I painted the chrome trim, the top of the doors is not supposed to be chrome. Ooh, my hairdryer just fell. So what I did was I replicated I actually was trying, my plan originally was to paint this, all the trim black, and then leave this in black so it would kind of represent the rubber gasket for the window, you know what I mean? But I forgot to remask this part or keep this part masked and painted it chrome instead, so I came in here with some flat black paint. I'm sure I'll be neck bearded about it in the chrome trim video, which is probably going to start some trouble. Like I said, this is December 8th, so that video hasn't aired yet, but there might be some static over that one. We shall see. I'm sure we'll be able to discuss it at some point. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble the rest of the antenna, paint that little part, put the little dot on, paint that, and I'm not going to put the antenna in there until final assembly, but I'll be back in a second. Okay, so here's the antenna. It's got the little bubble at the top. Wait for that to dry, and then I'll paint this little base chrome and the little bubble chrome, just to give it a little... Crap, I can't put this damn thing down now. Hold on. I don't know what it is, but something keeps knocking over my hairdryer. Fran, honey, we gotta sell the house. It's haunted. Okay, put that down, let that dry. So, while that's drying, what can I do? I can put the taillights into the taillight housings. These were painted with Tamiya X27. Where are you? Let's see if Frank is right. No. Where are you? Get over here. Where's the Tamiya Clear Red? Where'd you go? You were just here. I had you the other day. I had you in this video. You guys are probably able to see it, and I can't see it from my vantage point, so. Well, anyway, it's Tamiya Clear Red. You know what I'm talking about. That was, that's what this was spray painted. Oh, it's over, that's why it's not here. It's over by the spray booth, because I sprayed it on. So that was applied. I'm going to put that now behind here. And it's going to look lovely. So let's take a look, see how that goes. would appear that that just fits over there like that. And it will be the same for the other side. Let's put that there because I'm laying that down on the chrome. Let's get this out of the way. So what can we use? I say a good idea, because it'll be a non-mar finish. No sense risking the clear part with a solvent glue based on my desire to get this finished quickly. We're in no rush. Like I've said before, I make nice sub-assemblies, but I screw everything up in final assembly, which is true because for the most part I start trying to speed up and just get done in final assembly, and when you do that you screw things up. So I have to learn to grow as a person, become more patient. Now, the thing with PVA glue that I'm using, this is Canopy 560. It's not exactly the same as Elmer's glue. It has a it doesn't have good surface tension, which is why it doesn't want to stay put. It wants to move around, and unfortunately, the direction it doesn't want to move is into the join area between this piece of clear polystyrene and the taillight housing. So you kind of have to apply it generously. But what's good about that is this is going to be sealed inside the car itself, so you won't see this joinery. And by the way that this thing is looking, like this join is going to be behind. So it's almost like I'm laying a bead of cork back here in order to make this adhere. So now it's not, see what I mean? Like it's not jumping to bridge the gap. It doesn't have enough viscosity to make that bridge, to make that jump. And this isn't, this gap right here is very tight, so that I can't really get this applicator in there. So at what point do you give up, Frank? Well, let's give up now. How's that sound? Because this will dry with some volume. Since this isn't going to be sticking anything anyway, it's just going to get in the way when it dries, so I'll remove that excess. And yes, I am speaking with the other applicator in my mouth. Sorry about that. It's very rude of me. Poor manners. I'm still not looking forward to gluing the front clip on. People have suggested that I glue one side and then try the other. I'm pretty sure the last time I've had this issue, gluing one side and then moving over to the other side, the pressure that it's going to take to get this to line up might pop the joint on the other side, which is going to exacerbate the problem. The problem is, and what I'm talking about is the dimension of this front clip is such that no, it's not glued in. It almost seems too wide to go onto the front of the body, and I'm gonna have to pinch it like this in order to get it to, see how that's moving like that? Like, this is what the part looks like normally, and then I'm gonna have to pinch it like this in order to get it to line up properly with the front fenders. So I guess I just have to take my time. So I was printing something, 3D printing something, and for whatever, I was about to start printing something else, and I wanted to top off my resin vat with a little more resin. And I went a little bit past it was closer to the max line that I like doing, so I used a plastic cup to take a little of the resin out, and oh wow, this sucks. Boy, oh boy, does this suck. And let's just slather it on. Luckily, kits these days aren't, as inelegant, said Frank sarcastically. So anyway, I took a little plastic cup to dip into the resin vat and pour out a little of the extra resin. That little resin cup was containing another antenna that I had made, and I poured it into my resin. And I realized that I poured it into my resin as I watched it bloop into the resin. So I had to drain it out. That was fun. So that's how I spent my Sunday. All right, here we go. Now, the reason why I didn't do this to begin with is that this is an imprecise fit, which, if you get a thesaurus and you look up imprecise fit, monogram is one of the words. Because it's an imprecise fit, I don't want to have a little blob of clear in the background while I was trying to glue from the side and create the join that way, but sometimes you need a hammer with this stuff. It's what I get. It's what I get for trying to be nice. All right, so that's done. We'll let that dry. The instructions call for the grill to go into the front clip first, and then the assembly to go into, along with the front bumper, and then the assembly to go onto the front of the car. But let's see. There's other steps we could do. We could put the interior in, and then I could get the chassis underneath. Then I could probably touch up all of the chips that doing that is going to put into the paint job, because monogram. And all right, I'll be back in a minute. All right, so here's where we stand as of this point. Getting everything tucked underneath was filled with profanity, and which is why which is why you're not going to see it. But I got the chassis underneath. Yeah, I know red oxide wasn't really used at this point in Ford's story, but I don't care. I added a fuel line that goes back to the gas tank. I forgot to do a return line. So this thing's probably not going to run very well, if at all. It's a shame. Got the stance, nice and jacked up. I like it. It's got a nice rake to it. Oh, coincidentally, I found out while I was away doing all of this, Men at Arms Hobbies is still open as of the production of this video, which is this is December 8th of 2024. So that's good to hear. This is dry. I'm going to paint this up so that it's ready to go onto there. I got to add valve stems to the wheels. I got to put these parts on. I got to add the details to the engine bay. I got the ignition module painted up. I got a little ignition electronics box. I got the non-prototypically non-factory correct washer bottle because at this point these had reservoirs, but I don't care, I'm putting it on anyway. So what are you gonna do? You gonna beat me up? Let's go. Let's rock. And then I gotta put on the, ooh, I probably should have put this on, but we'll figure it out. I gotta get the master cylinder on there. This is not, if you remember, I had cut off whatever was there, but I'll get this on. I won't wire up the brake lines. That's beyond the scope of what I'm going for with this build. But I am kind of digging the way this engine looks. If you see, got some. Let's turn it this way because this. So you see, got some details on there. Again, I got the plumbing for the fuel system all verschimmeled, but what are you gonna do? It's not gonna run very well, but none of my models ever run really well. I don't know if it's the timing. I get the firing order wrong. So as this progresses, I'll bring you back in. So if you remember, I had said I was worried about getting this front clip on because I was going to get glue everywhere. I didn't get glue on the, but I was wearing a glove and I got CA glue right in the center of the hood, right there. So now I'm trying to polish it out. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so, I said okay. One of my videos is gonna start by me saying okay like 8 times or something like that. I say it a lot as soon as, especially when I'm filming like that on the stand. Anywho, I realized that the kit didn't come with a battery, but there is a cutout in the fender well for one. And I could have said, it's in the trunk, but wait. I had this nice file, 3D file, that I got from Scale Auto Modelworks on Cults 3D of an Optima battery. So I painted it up. Pretty nice. I don't have the decals for it. Wouldn't be too hard if you really wanted to go crazy. So that is going to be the last piece that I put onto this model. So let's do that right now. This is Formula 560 PVA glue. It is also referred to as canopy glue. If you fly radio control planes, you actually use this to affix the canopies, which is usually vacuum formed plastic, onto your flight. Believe it or not, to withstand the forces of the winds that radio control planes. I've never had a canopy. I've had the actual frame fly off, but never the canopy held on with this glue. It would remind you of Elmer's glue, but it's tougher than that. And it works well for stuff like this because you can attach stuff. It will not fog, and it will generally dry relatively clear. You will see, like, it could possibly leave a little bit of a trace, but it will be clear and it will look. I did have to trim a little bit of this battery off. I might have to trim a little bit more. Let's see. It is... No, it's not... Ooh, look at that. Just put a fingerprint. My blood type is bacon. That's why I'm so greasy fingerprints. Okay, so that's on there. Let me see. Is the hood sticking up at all? You know what? Let's just let's get that down. Make sure. Yep, that's fine. And with that, the 1970 Boss 429 Mustang for the Blue Ox Model Shop group build, Street Machine group build, is done. I'm just gonna polish it up. You'll notice I use these. These are tattoo ink cups. I bought them off of Amazon. They come in like large quantities for not a lot of money, so it's I'll have a link in the description. So I'll put up a quick tease shot for you, and then we'll sum up this episode. That was some teaser shots of the completed model. I'm gonna set up the camera to do some glamour shots and do a little bit of the round table, turntable thing that I do. That's usually pretty funny if the model still rolls, because the two of the Porsches that I did actually rolled off while I was doing that. And I'm looking through the footage, I'm like, man, let's keep that in there. It's funny. So anyway, this model, despite screwing the pooch like I usually do in final assembly with, you know, getting the spot on the roof, I tell you, it's me. Don't think for a minute like I am completely and totally responsible for everything that goes wrong with these things, because I will spend hours and hours and weeks and months working on something, and then like the final week, I'm like, oh, let's get this done in 45 minutes. And then I screw the whole thing up because there's something inside here that just doesn't work. I apologize if you hear screaming in the background. My daughter and her friends are on like a group chat, like a group phone call, and they're screaming. Apologies. Anyway, but that's something I tend to do. I tend to screw things up in final assembly. This one was no different, but you know what this is? I mean, I'm happy with the results. I think it looks good. The color combination is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, this is a good model if you wear bifocals. It's a good way to put it. Like if you're like from where I am right now looking at it, that looks pretty good. But once I bring myself in and look really close, yeah, naturally, I mean, you know, these eyes, they don't work like they used to. I actually, when I'm building something, I actually have to take my glasses off completely. Because even though I wear bifocals, like the bifocal part of my glasses is just so I can read like the dashboard of my car while I'm driving. And then, you know, I'm nearsighted, so I need to see things far away. But the up close and personal stuff, I gotta take my glasses off. I'm sure this is all really riveting stuff for the people that are under 50 years old to listen to. Yeah, you got a lot to look forward to, kids. All right, so thank you very much to Jason for hosting this group build. I'm happy that I managed to get something across the finish line that hopefully he likes, and he will be tagged in the finale. I'm going to shoot the finale next week, over the weekend, and then it'll premiere next week. So hopefully you'll see that. Then I'm going to do like, because this is the last one I'm going to finish for 2024, I'm going to do a year in review where I just, you know, show what I got finished in 2024, which is basically a couple of Mustangs and 5 Porsches. Couple? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 5. That's not bad. All right. So, see you next week with the finale on this. As always, I got Frizzo's back. I appreciate your support. And until we speak again, my friends, take care of yourselves and be well.